Hey, everybody, welcome to Bizchicks TV. This is the place for tips, tools, strategies, everything you need to take the hassle out of your hustle so that you can build a profitable business that's fun to run. Today is Tuesday. That means the digital diva herself is right here in the house, Terry Johnson, online from New York City, right here, right now, to give us some wisdom and insight into social media strategies and digital marketing.
Mhm.
So sit back and you can relax because you're going to learn some things today. We want to thank everybody joining live and on the replay. And without further ado, here is TJ.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another week of Marketing Talk, where we talk about all things marketing, especially now because there are so many platforms that are ever changing. And, we got AI and they've got algorithms that are AI based. And, we need to figure out how to navigate this world and get our businesses out in front of the people that it needs to get out in front of, right? Okay, so today is election day, but we're not going to talk about politics or elections. We're not going to talk about winners and losers, but we are going to talk about winners and losers in the sense of your business. Okay, because there's some things we need to look at, some things we need to put first, and it's not, oh, what nobody's seeing, my followers aren't seeing my content. We all know that the whole story, the scenario with Instagram, and unfortunately we still gonna have to talk about it because, like I said, everything's changing. So you got to know. And Fran loves to say, where they move the cheese, where's the cheese moved to, because we're looking for it, so we need to find that. And Mark is here. Hey, Mark. We put Mark comments up.
Marcus got jokes already. He said, vote for the Biz Chicks down ballot.
Yay, vote. Yes, we love that. Okay, so I'm gonna look at my notes for a minute because there's so much stuff happening this week. I was like, I got my notes, but I didn't. It's in here, but I want to make sure I get it out right. There's things I want to say because I'm tying it into the election as winners and losers, but winners and losers in a business sense for your audience, and I put your audience and how you can win them over to your business with the audience first strategy. Audience first strategy, because a lot of people think that they do put the audience first, and I'm like, no, you don't. You put your business first, and that's a natural thing for business owners to do. Oh, I'm gonna put my business first, but no, that's putting the cart before the horse.
Right.
And you see people, and you see you're not moving, especially online, especially on social media. You're like, this cart isn't moving. Why not? Well, you put the cart before the horse. Audience first strategy is what we're talking about. So it doesn't mean audience first doesn't mean that you should build an audience first. It means that you should build with the audience in mind, that all your plans, your strategy is the audience is in mind first. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to get into the details. And so I asked my assistant to put some things together for me. So I'm going to share with you what my assistant did for me. An audience first strategy puts the wants, needs, and challenges of your ideal customers at the heart of every decision you make. It's not about shouting into the void or pushing products. It's about connecting on a human level. When you put your audience first, you're not just selling a product or a service. Your office is offering solutions, building trust, and creating a community around your business or your brand. You're taking them on a journey with you so they feel like you're partners. Like, you get me, you know me. Like, and then as the business side of you go, well, I know what my audience wants and needs, desires, their problems, their pain points. So I'm going to give that to them. It's a match. It's a match. And so how do you get forward on social media is your messaging must match what the audience desires. You can't do that if you're not doing audience first strategy, if you're doing business first. And so you're looking through the lens of me, what I want. And a lot of people say, well, okay, I want to grow my business online. I want to make sales. Yes, that is the measurement of a business growth is sales. But again, cart before the horse. You don't put the sales first. You don't come on social media, buy my nobody's paying attention to you. Nobody's paying attention to that. I remember when Facebook groups first started and people were just coming in, buy my this, buy my that. I'm like, well, I don't know you. It might be what I need, but you haven't demonstrated that to me. I don't know you. It's like buying a watch. In the past, in New York City, it was the man with the coat, and he would open the coat up and he had Rolex watches. And he would get tourists, but he wouldn't get any New Yorkers because they're like, man, we don't know you. Those things are hot. Those are fake. Don't want it. But that is some of the things that people come on and say, hey, I have this for sale. You're just going to buy it because I'm here with the coat. And I'm saying, here, look at what I have. And people are like, I don't want that. And you going, why? Because they don't want that. You haven't met their needs. You haven't put them first. You haven't studied their language, what they need and what they want. Now, how do we do that? There's an easy way to do it. It's called, I hate to use these terms, persona, customer persona. And it's like, that sounds so academic. I don't like to bring out academic here because, again, these terms throw people off. What I always tell you to do is there's one person you need to talk to. Who is that person? Give them a name. Map out where they live. What do they do? What's their age? How many children they have? Are they married? Are they single? Do they like this? Do they like that? Do they shop online or do they like to go in store? There are so many things that you could go deep into, and you really don't have to have like a template or whatever. Just get some paper, pencil, use your phone, your tablet, whatever device you want to use, and say, well, who is my person? Who is my audience? I need to determine that. So I got a few things I want to look in my notes for the persona part of it. Let me go. Sorry, guys, because I had some questions. Yes, questions to ask. My assistant put these together. Questions to ask. Who is my ideal customer? And then on the other side of that, who is my non-idea or my not so perfect customer? Like, who do I don't want to attract? Why would you do that? Does anybody know why you would look at who you don't want?
I would venture to say is that you don't want to waste effort, time, and money on someone who really doesn't want what it is that you have to offer.
That's it right there. You don't want to waste your time, your money, your effort, because you're business owners. Your time is limited. You got a life and you have a business life. So that's pretty much all your day. Who has time to go, well, okay, well, I really don't want to mess around with those who are not my customer. I don't want to sell to the unsellable. Those people will never be my customers. And see, this is where we get into with social media and people are focused on followers. Why are you focused on followers? We're in a position now where followers do not matter because the algorithms have changed to serve content to those who connect with it, interest based. Doesn't matter if they're following or not. That's the whole idea behind Instagram and the whole people that are stuck in. I have 100,000 followers. All my followers should see my stuff. Well, it's interest based now, so they don't care about what you're posting.
Mark has a comment. He said, how could anyone not want what I have to offer? How rude.
I'm sorry, Mark. There's some people that will not want to hear what you have to say. And there's some people that don't want to hear what I have to say. And there's some people that don't want to hear what Fran has to say. And that's okay. I know he's joking, but that's okay.
We just want the ones that want to hear from us.
Yes, we want the ones that want to hear what we have to say. Why? Because we have a chance to put them on a customer relationship journey to a sale or to a connection or to the goal, the end goal of why you're on social media. Because you got to know why I'm on social media. And business owners know why, because that is the direct path to new eyeballs, new audiences, new people who don't know your business or what you do or what you talk about. Discoverability. That was the big thing with Black. Oh, discoverability. It was this, dude. Because that's the thing. That's how you get new people, new customers, new community members, new whatever it is. If I don't know about you, I can't connect with you. I can't buy what you're selling. I can't join your community. I can't join your Patreon. I can't sign up for your thing. I don't know who you are. See? And then we have on the other side that people go, well, I did social media, I ran ads, I tried this and nothing happened. Well, something in that process is broken with you, and you got to figure out where the leak is. You know, talking about plumbing. I don't know. That just popped in my head. But why is the water not coming out the faucet? There's some pipes there, and the water comes. There's something blocking. There's something broken. There's something leaking. So you fix that. But the water is there. Same thing with social media. That's where the people are. I've said this a million times. We used to go to the mall. Don't do that anymore. Where the people hang? Where are the people? Where's my people? Online. But here's the hard thing. That if you sit down and make a strategy, you get this out of the way, you don't have to worry about it. Where is your people? Where is your audience hanging out?
Yeah.
Is it Instagram? Is it LinkedIn? Is it Pinterest? Is it TikTok for now? Or is it some new app that figure that part out? Guess what? You don't have to build the house every day. You built the house by figuring out, well, you know, my audience is, and this is where the customer persona comes in when you figure out the name, the age, what they do, because a person of a certain age or certain income is not going to be hanging out on Snapchat. Because we talked about that. Snapchat is dead. No, it's dead for you because you're over 25. It doesn't exist for you, but it exists for that group of 13 to 24-year-olds.
It has become apparent that my people are on the lost island of Atlantis and they don't have Wi-Fi.
Oh, that's so funny. Bart, you keep me laughing. Okay, so does everybody get that? That we have to know this idea person, this customer persona. Like they like to, if you go search on Google, you got to make your customer persona. I'm like, just write down the one person I'm talking to. And
so what I hear you saying, everybody is not our customer.
Nope, I've said it several times. Our mother told me a long time ago, everybody ain't your, you know, everybody ain't gonna be for you.
Everybody not gonna work with you.
They're not gonna like you. They're not gonna work with you. They're gonna be negative. They're gonna be this and that. And guess what? It's okay. Now tying that back into today, there's gonna be some people that like one side and one people like the other. Now, the person that wins, I'm not gonna say, they're gonna have to bridge the gap, and everybody has to come together because that's the idea of the country we live in, that everybody comes together. So you got the vision and then you got to come together. So you have to decide, all right, well, this group of people may not ever come over to my side. They might not ever see my business favorably. They may not ever need my services, but somebody they know might need it. See? And if you're in real estate, you know how that works. Like you talk to everybody because that person you hand your card to or talk about, you know, what you do, they might not need a house today, but they may need a house in a couple months. Mm-hmm. They may have a coworker, they may have a relative, whoever. They may need it. So you got to be top of mind. You got to be top of mind. And so it doesn't have to be a struggle of, you know, I got to get, if you're constantly in that cycle of, and this is what, you know, what you do online with social media, making content that connects. In the case of the real estate agents, you're always talking to people because you never know where the sale comes from. That is what happens on social media. You never know where the content is connecting with the right person and if it was shared. That's why Instagram is like, we value shares. Why does Instagram put their focus on shares now? It's because It opens up the door to them getting more people. And here's another example that I see on I call it Twitter. I'm not calling it X. On Twitter a lot. If I'm there and I see a video, it's from TikTok. Guess what? I go to TikTok because the little thing, the little blue shows the handle of the person and it moves around. So if I pause it, I said, "Oh, that's so and so on TikTok." So I head on over there because of a share.
Right.
See, your person may not be on TikTok, but they may be on one of the. And I've seen it on Facebook. I've seen it everywhere. That's why that little bloop and the little sound, which is why Instagram is doing their little sound, which theirs sounds stupid, by the way. The little sound on Reels, I don't like that. But they have, but that's their tag because Instagram knows that it gets shared out of Instagram or it gets shared out of TikTok and brings people over to TikTok. So that's why they're focusing on shares. It's a way to bring more people to the shore. Here's the boats coming in because they're coming from another island, another country. Ooh, more people.
And this is probably why they want, if your stuff is shareable and they keep pushing it, it's because it's going to attract even more people.
That's right.
And they get more eyeballs for ads.
Right. That's it exactly. Remember, every social media platform lives and dies by money. If there's no money, there's no oxygen. If they don't breathe, they die. Every app. And that's why we talked about I forgot what app we talked about. And they were like, "Oh, we're not going to run ads and we're not going to charge." And I was like, "Well, how are you going to survive?"
Was that Be Real or somebody?
I think it was, but there's a couple others that go, "Oh, and here it is." Was it Black? One of the other live stream platforms we were on, they were like, "Oh, we've got funding, unlimited funding. Where do you have an unlimited money tree that somebody just throwing money at you, even though you're not making a profit?" I don't know anybody that has money that just
And I'm thinking, even as an investor, why would I be putting money into that and it's not going to return?
Right. I can't remember what platform it was. They were so proud of, "Oh, don't worry, we have funding." And I was like,
I don't know, because there's been quite a few of them.
This is way back. This is we're going back years, guys, because we've been live streaming for a long time. Or name the platform we've done the live streaming on it. And they all come on, "Oh, don't worry." And I'm like, wait a minute.
You can get this for free. And we're like, yeah,
Somebody
that's not gonna work.
Yeah, don't worry about the checks will flow. The checks stop flowing because people are like, wait a minute. They might be enthusiastic in the beginning and just go, "Oh, don't worry about the profits." And then they start to, the more money that they put in, like Fran said, they're not seeing a return. Like, okay, I'm just throwing my money away. I might as well take my money and go to Tahiti or someplace that for me.
Right.
Not giving it to you.
I think Twitter did this. Twitter was not profitable until 2017.
A long time. Yeah.
They were not profitable. And so when it was up for sale, they were sitting back in the cuts like, ooh. Because they were never profitable. I was like, how are you all
There's a couple
existing?
places. Wasn't Spotify that wasn't profitable for a long time? They just yeah.
And but people kept putting money in with the hope that it was going to pay off.
Right. Because they had the meetings and the founders or the people that are running the software or the platform or whatever. They say, yeah, these are the projections and don't worry in a year, and that's why then they get more money to keep they keep the wheel going. That the money is the oil for the wheel to keep turning.
And so that was with Twitter. That's exactly what happened when they were offered them billions. They was like, wait, what? Hold on.
Yeah, because it's like this ship ain't going nowhere, so we might as well. You want to get on board?
That was like selling a home Like you sold a haunted house or something, you'd be like, oh,
You want it? Give me the
sure.
cash, you can have it. You know this a haunted house, right? Yeah, I know. Free and clear. Here's my, you did your check clear, the money. Bye. You can have it. You can do what you want. You want a haunted house.
And I was like, wow, okay, they got, and they just
But
went on to the bank and like, thank you.
yeah, the check cleared. I'm good. But this is how it goes. These are some of the things that we need to realize, that the people are there on social media. It's just like I said, you have to, if you've done the things that we talked about and they're not working, then okay, it's like a mad scientist. You got to go back in the lab and, you know, duct tape, Frankenstein, whatever stuff to get it to work, because it is workable. Why? How do I know it's work? Because there's people out there. You can go out there right now, Instagram, whoever, Facebook, and there's people that saying, and some of them are lying, but some of them are like, you know, they really make money online with their business, whatever it is, different things. We've talked about that. The lady, the craft lady.
Oh yeah,
Cassandra.
yeah.
I think
Is it
Cassandra's her
Cassandra?
name. All I think in this craft lady, and she made like a whole bunch of money
Yeah, she did.
on YouTube, and we talked about it. Was for real. It was for real, for real. And all she did was, I'm trying to remember her story because we talked about it. She went on the podcast with Omar, the I forgot the guy with the podcast that we discovered, but she went on with him and said all she did, she was in a hotel room. Yes, she I think she had lost a place, and she didn't have a place to live. Whatever, she was in a hotel, and she was just getting on her phone, live streaming, and talking about her crafts and the things and everything, and she built it from there, just from being online. But what happened is she connected with her people. She found her people. She found her tribe, whatever terminology you want to name it. But it's not an instantaneous thing. It took work. She live streamed. She did this. She did that. So she kept digging until she found the goal.
Right, and she stayed with what resonated with her.
Yes.
Um,
Still now.
right. So there's
I can't remember her name because I just remember
there's a
Cassandra and
Cassandra
Crab.
Smith I'm looking at.
Might be.
And then there's a Cassandra Crafting with Cassandra.
I think
Cassandra
that's it. Cassandra Wilson. I think that's her name.
Wilcox.
But something with a W.
Yeah, Cassandra Wilcox.
Yeah, so I'm on her YouTube, but we talked on her YouTube channel, but we talked about it. I forgot the name of the show. We talked about her, but I'm just using that as an example of one of the people. It works, but you see a lot of people online. I do that complain that, oh, I did a launch and nobody. I had one sale. I was like, well, you had one sale. Keep going. Something broken in your system that you're using. Fix it. Could be the messaging, could be you need to run ads, could be a myriad of things, but you got to go back mad scientist style and go, okay, let me go and see what it is, or you get help, because there's lots of people out there that will look at your system. They call it funnels. I call it a system. They will look at your system and say, well, they come in like a plumber. Well, here's your leak.
Mm-hmm.
That you couldn't see, that you went under the sink, or you went somewhere and you looked at and you was like, I don't see the leak. The professional came in and said, there's your leak right there. Who wouldn't pay for that? That's another part of it, the pain part of it. You have a leak, you have a problem. Here's the professional coming, but you got to pay them. There's another thing. You want to figure it out yourself. That's what YouTube is for. Do it yourself. But guess what? It may take you longer. You may not find it. A whole bunch of things can happen, but you call that professional. He or she comes and looks right at it. Same thing with a car. They look right at it and say, there's your problem. And you pay them to fix it. Same thing with social media. We've got people online that do that. So
Mark has a comment. He says it's one more sale, sale more than you had yesterday.
Yes. And guess what? When you look at it, when you examine it, what they call post-mortem or whatever you want to call it, and the professional comes in and says, well, that's the reason, then you get back at it.
Right. And sometimes it's good to pay the professional because just like you said on YouTube, sometimes the YouTubes are older
Right.
and sometimes the YouTube is not showing you everything that could be happening
Right. And
behind the
sometimes they
wall.
do. Right. And sometimes they do. Because remember, we talked about that. Somebody had a video that's like 12, 14 years old about how to drill something.
Hammer a
Right,
nail in the wall.
something, yeah, and it still works
Right.
because it was correct, and that process of needing to put a hole in the wall hasn't changed. So that's why it works. But sometimes when you go to YouTube, it's somebody's confusing you, or they're not explaining it right, or it's too complicated, or they're not something there is broken also. So again, do you want to waste time trying to figure it out yourself?
Pay the plumber.
Yeah, yes, thank you.
Just
Pay
pay
the
the
plumber.
plumber because you don't know what tool the plumber needs when you find the leak, and you don't know how to patch
You
that.
don't
You
know how to
don't know
do it.
about the plumber's tape. You don't know about the, but you don't know.
Same thing with a locksmith. You know how to do that? No, you call a locksmith. They come over, pop, pop, pop. That'll be whatever. That'll be 150, whatever they charge, and you pay it. Why? Because there was a need to get inside of your house.
Right.
You cannot stand outside. Well, it's getting dark. I can't get into my house. Or the locksmith, or if you've got a digital system, or if you got a home system, and whatever it is, you're locked out. So you got to call the appropriate person to come over and say, okay, there's your problem, bloop, 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 and they're on their way.
Because that person is proficient in
Mhm.
that particular skill set. They know what to do.
Mm-hmm. They see it
Look,
instantly.
right,
Yeah.
because you'll be under the sink doing stuff, pulling all the stuff
Getting
out from under
wet,
the
water.
sink.
You've seen the movies and the commercials, the water spraying everywhere.
You're not meant to fix everything yourself.
And then somebody else standing there. I told you to call the plumber. I could do it myself. Why? Why?
Call the
Why?
plumber.
Call the plumber. Why? So those are some of the things. So let me get back to the questions to ask. So the one, who is my ideal customer? And we just talked about this. What unmet needs and desires do they have? Like, what are their pain points? What are the things that they need fixed? We just talked about that with the plumber and the locksmith. You fill in the blank with whatever thing, a car repair, a tire blown, all of those things. You're not going to do it yourself. That's why they have AAA. Oh, something with my you can do it yourself, but you may have some place to go, and I can't spend time figuring out. There's a solution. Boop. There's your problem. There's your problem. There's your solution. Okay. So also, what demographics design my customer persona, my avatar, whatever you want to call it? You want to know age, income, where they live, how many kids they have. You could get as detailed as you want with it. Okay, but remember, the more ways you define the one person, the better for you. It's better for you. Here's some other things you might want to know: their favorite books, their favorite movies, what do they like to do in their spare time. Those are the psychographics, where you get into the mind of the person. Like, what are the things they like to do? Do they want to go to a vacation in Bali? Do they like this? Do they like ice cream? Do they like whatever? Do all of that, because it fine tunes. It will help you fine tune your message, because you want to reach them.
Can I
Mm-hmm.
interject something here? Let's take Starbucks versus what's some other people? Dutch Brothers. Two different. It's coffee.
Yes, it's
But
coffee. It's a bean.
it's a bean, but two different audiences for that same bean. It's the same region of the country, wherever they got the bean or whatever, but there are two different perspectives for that bean. Starbucks has a whole different clientele than Dutch Brothers.
Yeah, and that's all branding. That's another layer of this puzzle. is the branding.
Well,
Branding doesn't come first. How did Starbucks get there? How did
they studied, talking about what you just told us. They
yeah,
studied their customer persona. Our customers drive this, they do this, they do this, they do this. Dutch Brothers says my customers do this, and they're two different sets of customers.
yeah, and you can throw in Dunkin', you can throw in Dunkin', you can throw in the store brand Folgers and Maxwell. You can throw all of those in there, and it's like I said, we've talked about this. I've said these things are commodities, and we did a show about that. Coffee's a commodity. Sugar's a commodity. The thing that they come from the raw material, but they're packaged and branded in a certain way to appeal to a certain audience. Because
Yeah.
coffee, it comes from a bean, but there's different regions of the world where, because of the soil, because of the rain, because of the elements, it tastes different to people who care about that. There are some people that like coffee tastes different. I'm like, yes,
Yes,
depending
it
on
does.
where it comes from and the process and all the things that they do. Same thing for chocolate. Comes from a bean. Cocoa, it comes from cocoa bean. You have to think about these things. So that's why I said that there's the commodity part of it where AI is making it commodity wise, where you are putting it into the AI machine and it's coming out, but you are going to package it in your voice. Same thing they do with coffee. They get the beans from wherever. I even saw a story years ago about Yemen. The coffee coming from
Yes.
Yemen. There was a young man that like he came over to America, but then he was like, got to the coffee scene and was like, oh, he's from Yemen. He was like, well, I'm going over there, get the beans and bring it over here and have a new style of coffee. But then again, there's something called a coffee connoisseur that is into that origin story, the packaging and
Yes.
branding of it, but you have the others who don't care. It's
Oh,
just coffee
I
to
was
them.
gonna, I was gonna blurt out the Mickey D's. I was like,
They
okay.
don't get, to them, coffee is coffee. It's just a bean. They don't it's and this applies in almost all industries. There's the connoisseur, the person that sees the fine nuances of wine or fashion or whatever, and they know the origin of it and they care. And there's other people that like in fashion, I just want some jeans. But there's other people that like they gotta have a certain jean from a certain designer because they know where the fabric was and how it was made and the color. And this, you have that in every industry. So do you
Right.
want, as a call at Starbucks, so go back to them, do you want the person that just wants coffee, or do you want the person that wants the Starbucks experience? Because that's what it is.
Exactly.
It's an experience. And guess what? Starbucks doesn't do a lot of advertising because that white cup with the green lady on it does all of the work. And then they, come out with seasonal stuff because that is to whip their customers into a frenzy.
Yeah.
Oh, this pumpkin spice latte. Oh, and the Christmas stuff should be out now. And they have new cups. But that is to build the buzz of their customers, the people that love them. They're one person. And that goes out in a wave to the people that they interact with who don't care about coffee that much. They get swept up into the emotion of it.
Mark said, if you don't know your grande from your venti, get
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, see, it goes with we could talk about olive oil, we could talk about wine, we could talk about fashion. There's so many industries where this applies, and the ones that are successful, and I mean brands and corporations, know their customer to the T. To the
Right.
T. So we got to do some of that. And it takes work in the beginning, but you got to be audience first. You got to be, instead of me going, I got this business and I want to sell this, and you go out and you bang on the door, sell, 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 and nobody's buying. And you're like, well, what? Why? I got this great thing. They don't care. They
Yeah.
don't care.
With Starbucks in mind, Schultz, Mr. I can't remember, Charles. I forgot his name, his first name.
Yeah, I think it's
He,
Charles. I think it's Charles.
I can't think we're thinking of Charlie Brown. However, the dude he went to Italy and saw the
Yes.
people drinking the espressos and stuff. And so he came back here and tried to do that same thing.
Yes.
And in the beginning, it was people standing up. You
Yes.
know, he brought, because in Italy they stood up and drank
Yes.
their espresso or whatever.
Right.
He found out here people in the United States did not want to be standing. So he had to tweak it for his audience. He put his audience first.
Yes. It's Howard Schultz.
Howard Schultz. Okay, yeah.
Yes, he was
'Cause
the
I was
he
like,
was the
wait.
one. Yeah. So
But somebody, he went and studied. He had the idea to bring it over here, like the young man from Yemen, right?
yeah.
And he had to study the customer. The United States customers want a couch to sit on.
Right.
We don't want we don't want to be standing up drinking coffee. And so he had to give the people what they want.
And see, a part of this is being observant, audience first, being observant, just knowing. And the things we're talking about are, is it hard? It's just, it's one of the building blocks of, okay, I got a business and I want to, I want to have the goal of revenue and be successful. How do I do that? Well, it's always know your audience first. Is
Mm-hmm.
there a market for what you're selling, the product, the service, whatever you're doing? Is there a market for it? Doesn't have to be large. We're in the era now because of social media that you can do more with a small audience, and we'll talk about that soon. That's one of the things I have on my list of like ideas to talk about, is how to monetize, how to grow with the small audience. It's doable. Why? Because of the way that Instagram is moving, because of TikTok, the way that YouTube is moving, the things that they do to help the small creator. And we are to compared to, say, Mr. Beast or Kim Kardashian or Beyonce or whoever, the people got 600 million. We're not that. We're small creators. So they are doing things to help us. I always say that the CEO of Instagram, Adam, always on his Instagram being very helpful. He could just not talk. He could just ignore these people. And I'm pretty sure he's like exasperated, but he keeps getting on there every couple of days, getting on his story and saying, listen here, this is what you need to do. And here's the advice, and here's the strategy. Then he will bring on people like Marcus Brownlee. He will bring on these other creators and say, tell me how you They do not like it. Give us chronological, because I have 100,000 followers and they should all see my content. Well, they would if you were making stuff that resonated with all of them, but obviously you don't, and that's okay. You had 100,000. You have 100,000 followers, and in the beginning, when you first got on Instagram, yes, that was how you grew. But now it's different. The algorithm, AI, is doing this. AI decides what is seen, and you gotta get okay with that. You have to be okay with it. You have to settle your mind with it and say, okay, this is the way we're going. I gotta be okay with it. I gotta figure out my strategy. How am I going to do that? There's ways to do it. And then I always say, maybe you want to leave Instagram. You don't have to stick with it. Maybe you want to go to Threads. Maybe you want to go to Pinterest. Maybe you want to go to LinkedIn. Maybe you want to go somewhere else.
Maybe you want to ask the people, where would you like to, where would you,
that too.
Where would, what would you like to see more of?
You should do that. You should always ask, because you're going to be, there are things that you're not going to know as the owner of the business, owner of the brand, owner of whatever you're doing. You're not going to know. So don't assume that you're the know-it-all, because there's people out there that are going to say, hey, have you ever thought of doing XYZ? Or why don't you talk about this, that, and the other? And you go, wow, I never thought of that. And two heads are better than one.
Yep.
Mark has a comment.
Oh, gosh. My sales strategy on Friendster is not working out.
Friendster. Pull that Friendster up. Oh my God, that is like MySpace days.
Oh,
Oh my
but
goodness.
they're still out there for that small
Yes.
selection of people. It is still there.
Yes. And so that's why I say get on YouTube. YouTube is the future of, okay, people are going to be watching stuff online. When TikTok goes away, where are they going? If the other platforms go away, or if Instagram changes their algorithm, which they probably will once more, and people are frustrated, YouTube is going to be over there. Come. Why do I say YouTube? Because that's where Gen Z is spending their time a lot. It's easy to be seen over there. YouTube makes it easy. And I mean that they will, if someone connects with your content, YouTube sees that. And the next time they come in, they will see your new video or your old video. I'm not sure how they're doing it, but you're going to see something from that content creator, their channel
Yeah,
that
they
you
do.
typed.
And
Yes,
even if you're on premium and you think you can just do, no, they're showing you stuff from, they push something up, like you said, from old content from 3 years ago. And I
they
was like,
will
what is
pull, I
this?
don't know how they're doing it, but they will pull something that, and this, well, I know how they're doing it. It's AI. AI is determining what you might like.
Yep. It's anticipating.
This
Oh,
is
would
how
you like?
AI works. This is how programming works. It has to fulfill a request. In a sense, it's your mother making you happy. Oh, you
Right.
like chocolate chip cookies? I'm going to give you chocolate chip cookies all the time until you say, Ma, how about something else? Well, here's some cake.
Right.
Give you cake.
And
It wants to
and
it
that's
wants to make
exactly
you
what
happy.
it's that's exactly what it's doing. Because I
Yes.
was like, how did I get here? If Because I play golf and I looked at something on putting. Now
Yes.
all of a sudden, everything on putting is popping up, and I just wanted it from one person, but they're bringing me
Right. From other content creators. And see, another thing about YouTube, there is a button that says not interested.
right,
You can do that. I've done it. I was like, oh, why am I don't want, because I watched one thing, but here's another content creators channel which I don't like, because they use animation, and I'm like, I don't like that style of animation. But I'm like, so when I see that style, I go not interested, or don't show me this channel. Because
right.
you have to give out signals of I like or I don't like.
Or else they'll just keep putting stuff in front of you, and you'll
Or
be
it's mom.
frustrated.
Here's that apple pie. Mom, I'm tired of apple pie. Can we have some pumpkin cake, pumpkin pie, or sweet potato pie, or something else? Okay. And then it keeps going until you tell it. It's mom. That's how the text chat GPT and all the GPT tools work. They're putting, you're giving it a request, and it's putting things together to make something that you like. It wants to satisfy you. That's the end result. It must complete the equation.
Right. And then you don't feel bad if you tell it, no, I don't like this, because
Yeah,
it's not a person.
you have to say you don't like this, because then it goes, okay. I've done that with, and speaking of, like, I'm working on things with ChatGPT, and I'm telling it to do this, and then I say, okay, make the logo. It makes a logo, and I go, well, I don't like that. Make it more colorful, or make it black and white, or take some of the things out. But see, and then it says okay, and it goes and it spits something else out, and I say, well, I take this off, change the red to blue. It does that, and I keep doing it until I get something that's close to what I
Mhm.
like. See, I like doing those kind of things, because I'm like, it to me, it's the tool that gives me what I want. When I refine it,
Yep.
when I start out with a basic phrase, and then I say, and now I'm telling it, like, well, what should I tell my assistant, well, I have an idea for this. What should I do with it? It's coming out with whole just things of blowing my mind. I never thought of that.
Right. So there is not, you have no excuse for not having content
And the
now.
tools are free. Did I forget that? You don't have to pay for ChatGPT. It's free. You don't have to pay for Copilot. It's free. Now you're going to get the basic free level of service, but it's good enough to start, right?
Right.
I don't understand why anybody is not. And then wait till is Apple's artificial intelligence out? I
Oh,
think it's
Apple
out.
Intelligence,
Yeah.
part of it is out.
Okay.
It is, that part is out in the phone, and it will rewrite your text and rewrite your stuff. It
This
has not gotten the one that works with you. That's coming a little later, but
right.
the text messages and stuff, that thing is working. I was
This is
like,
this it. Just say what you gotta say. You're
and
not gonna have to open the app.
it works on anything that has a Word document, like your notes, or
Mm-hmm.
if you are in, what was I in? I was in something else, and it wasn't an Apple app. It was a
Right.
different app, but it
Right.
said, "Did you want to rewrite this?" And I was like, "Say what? Wait a minute. I'm in a completely different app. It wasn't even an
Right.
Apple app, and it asked
Right.
me if I wanted it." Mark is funny. Apple Intelligence has been released. Mark Intelligence is out, and I don't mean released.
But there is market intelligence. When you go
Yeah,
into these tools, you're gonna be able to make a tool just for you. It's gonna be your AI.
and that I like that part, and I like that about ChatGPT because I can keep refining it for me, and it works for me.
It's
And you have to tell it who you are and how you do things and what you're doing, and it'll keep so that it can answer for you in your voice.
and see here's the thing. I even discovered I don't know how I find these people. Found somebody on Instagram that all she does is talk about Chat GPT. And I saw one of her reels, and she was like, "You can tell Chat GPT to critique your prompt and make it better." I was like, "Get out of here!" I've been playing with that this week. So I put my request in, and then there's the prompt to put in. I forgot what it is. Let me see if I
Okay, now see, TJ,
yes.
you giving us all the secrets. She said
Evaluate
it's
my prompt on a scale of 1 to 10, and then you tell it to evaluate the prompt and to refine it if it's not perfect, or what is
it's
it?
not
Not
effective. It's
improve
effective.
it. Yeah, refine the prompt and then execute it, and it does it. I was
Okay,
like,
so
get out of town.
TJ is spilling the tea up in here on Tuesday.
Oh yeah, so yeah, I'm working on again. Like I'm always working on stuff. I got so many things working on where we're gonna use this tool for business. For I'm not. There was a point when we first started using GPT tools, and it was like this whole act as a. You don't do that anymore. You just say something. You talk to it like the movie Her, which I keep forgetting to watch. You just talk
Okay,
to it,
oh my gosh, you're gonna enjoy that movie.
conversations back and forth. And you're going to it opens up your mind to where you go, I never thought of that. Can you give me something that I never thought about my improving my business? And you plug in the website. You can do that. If you've got a website, you put it in and say, how can I improve this to better reach new clients, or improve my
And,
relationship with my existing clients?
okay, don't get your feelings hurt when it tells you to.
Yeah, it's going to tell you. I
Because
like that. Tell me the truth.
I was like, oh, I need to fix that. Okay.
And also, if there's a coach or a famous person or somebody that you want to do in the style of, you can ask the GPT tool to help you with that. All you got to do is say, if they were my coach, what would they tell me to do? Or how would they tell me to fit? See, this is the thing about it. You don't have to have the perfect prompt. You just have to have conversations with it, telling an idea of what you want to do, and say, I could say, hey, if Gary V was my business coach, how would he tell me to do whatever? And it comes back and tells you why, because Gary Vaynerchuk is a person that's been online for a number of years. His
And it
content is out
goes,
there.
and it
He's a
goes,
good example, yes, because he has lots of content, tons. So the tools know how to go on the internet and get that information. Now, if you use somebody that's not as well known, or they have not been prolific with their content online, they haven't shared a lot, you're not going to get much. So you could do somebody like Oprah, you could do Gary, you could do anybody that has content online. Lots of Marcus Brownlee is one. You could do him.
Right.
Mr. Beast. I'm trying to think of just names. People who have lots of content that's on the internet that have access. Now realize a lot of these websites are blocking chat GPT. I think the New York Times was one, a couple others. So things from like that source, it won't be able to get. And remember, it goes to the library and picks out the books, does the research and puts it together and brings it back to you, and you go, well, I don't like that, give me another version. Then it goes back to the books and it looks in the books and it writes it a different way until you get what you want. Same
So
thing with the image.
Ready Player One.
Yes, that's another one on my list.
He went to the library because he was looking for some clue. He went to a library, and there was the AI dude was standing at the portal, and he said, I need to get something. And so the AI dude went, and it was moving back so fast to go get him whatever it was
what he requested. Right.
And it was moving and came back with the book or whatever it was. Out of millions of books and data, it was.
That's why we now in healthcare that we have AI that can diagnose things. It can look at slides and it can look at images and diagnose things that the human eye cannot pick up just from the data that's already been inputted. Like you said, you usually have a medical student. They go, and I've seen this on Grey's Anatomy and all these medical shows. They will, they have a case of the person that has a mystery thing, and they say go on. So they get all the books and they read and study. Well, IBM made that computer years ago that does the same thing faster than a medical student. Yes. So that's where we are. It's going to be. It has the ability to diagnose those things because it's all math and science. It's based on rules that don't change. So here we go. But we're getting off into the AI world, which I love to talk about because it's undiscoverable territory. There's still stuff to discover.
And the thing is, to tie this into talking about audience first strategy, you can tell your AI assistant to put together, help me create my my avatar, audience, persona, whatever. You can ask it, if you're not quite sure how to create your own, you still got homework to do. What putting in your product or your
right,
whatever it is, and asking the assistant to help you identify your target audience. And you might be like, oh, I thought it was the people who like cats, but it's not. It's the people who like dogs. Okay, but it will help you identify. So that use the tools.
Exactly. And then, if you use ChatGPT, you can do a voice. You don't even have to type. You can do a voice command, and it will respond with your with a voice back to you. It's like it's really like the movie where you're having a conversation with the computer, and it's it's Scarlett Johansson's voice, but still, it's going to be a voice
Did
you want to make.
They settle that?
I'm not sure. I think they did.
Because she was the voice in her.
Right.
So this is like talking to Star Trek computer.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And we finally get to that.
Exactly.
We finally get to that part of Star Trek. We got the doors that open on their own. We have the phone that flips. Now we can talk to the computer.
And speaking of that, I'm going to try it now. I really, can you help me identify my ideal customer persona, my avatar for my business?
To identify your ideal customer persona, let's focus on key aspects that define them. Demographics, likely 25 to 45, as they're in the early stages of building a business. Gender, all genders. Income level, moderate, with a focus on investing in learning and growth. Location, urban or suburban areas with access to digital resources. Psychographics, ambitious and eager to learn.
Okay, that's it. Thank you.
Okay, so here's the other thing. That sounded like Scarlett Johansson.
It did?
Yes, it had a little tweak. They tried to tweak it a little bit so that it didn't sound quite like her, but that sounded like her.
And see, that was the voice chat, and I could change it to a male voice or a female voice or whatever. But see how I just asked it and it just went into it, and then it returns and it say, I have to define my demographics, and we talking about that: age, gender, income level, locations, and then it went into psychographics. Ambitious and eager to learn, seeking growth in their business ventures. I stopped it, but it I can pick it back up. I can tell it to go back and continue, but I just wanted to stop because we'll be here all day. That thing will talk to me all day, giving me stuff. But that's some of the things you want to do, and really, just think about it, because you want to be audience first. Why? Because that is the way for you as a business owner to get to where you need to go, reach your goals faster than, okay, I'm going to try to talk to everybody and I'm just going to wing it and go out there and just throw my business, what my products and services or what I'm trying to accomplish. I mean, because this works even if you're not doing a business. If you're doing a podcast, you still need to connect with people. You're trying to get people to listen to your podcast. So you still got to do those things that are, okay, how do I do that? And you can tell the tool, whatever, pick up any tool you want. It's going to tell you, say, how do I get more listeners to my podcast? And then you can put the link to your podcast. I think ChatGPT can find it if it's on YouTube. It has trouble with Instagram sometimes, but I kind of fudge it. Like I try to find a way around it. Or if you have a website, it will go right to it and say, these are the things you need to work on. And then you refine it, have a conversation with it and say, okay, help me with number 2. It might give you 10 things. And you say, well, help me with number 2. And it says, okay. And it shows you how to do number 2. And it lays out the plan. You could tell it, hey, create the content, and it will go to Canva and do it for you. You can actually do that. It will either go to Canva, or if it can't go to Canva, it'll say, go to Canva and type and search for this template called blah, blah, blah. And you look for it, and then it tells you what to do. So it gives you the instructions. So
we have no excuse for not having it. We have the tools right here at our disposal to get the work done, to reach our audience, and it's going to take some work, but it's our work, our brain work, and the computer is going to execute it for us.
Right. So just remember these things. You define your ideal and non-ideal customer. Get the basic demographics we just talked about. I just showed you live how to do it. You can use Copilot. You don't have to use ChatGPT. You can use Copilot, whatever tool. It will give you the answer. Also, you can identify interests and influences, find out motivational and psychological triggers, and those things will help you draft a customer persona that is complete as you can get it, because you don't want to get too you continue to make this person and get too minute with the details. You really want to flesh it out as much as you can, and then you go, okay, I know how to talk to that person, and you talk to that person. You make the content to talk to that person. That's all you do. That's it. And the thing about the psychographics and psychological information, if you go to Amazon and search for books on like what that person would like, or there are people that go in there and type out all of these long reviews or responses to a book. That gives you another way to look at how they think and how they feel, and also what they might need. See? Amazon's a good tool.
Yeah, especially the review.
Yes, the reviews.
Right, because you're there. If it's a complaint, you know what they don't like, and you can now fix whatever it is that they don't like.
Right. The ideal and the non-ideal. See how you get both sides of the picture? Aha. Oh, this group of people, when they read this book or bought this product, this is what they, because people are very vocal about what they like and what they don't like about a product or about a book. You could do that on Amazon. You could do a search on Facebook. You just search. Just go somewhere and just type in a couple words and see what's being said. And go from there. There's lots of information and tools available to us. We just got to make a plan. And that's why I'm saying about the audience first. Make a plan I need to know my audience. I need to know my audience. What are some of the things?
This has been enlightening, TJ. Just, my goodness. Makes me want to go and sit down and focus on building.
Yeah.
Using the tool to build, and it's not going to require me going through the books or me going to the internet and doing a search on Google. I don't have to do Google search anymore.
No, you don't have to. And here's the other thing about using ChatGPT, Copilot and stuff. You can ask it, where do I start if I want to learn more about this person? And it will tell you. It will give you guidelines, guidepost signs, mile markers and signs, and go here, turn left, and do that to find what you need. But the things we talked about today is a good starting point, and you don't have to spend a lot of time. This is not going to be your thesis. You're not graduating from college. You're just trying to get some information, just enough until you say, okay, I got enough for now. You don't want to overwhelm yourself. I got enough for now. Let me go and make some content. Test it out, see what the response is, test the waters, and then go back to ChatGPT or Copilot and say, I did XYZ, what's next? It'll tell you what to do next. It'll tell you. And it'll say, okay, did you do this? Did you try that? And you go, no, let me try that. Can you help me create content on that? Sure. And here's the content. And they tell you what kind of content to make, and they give you an outline of everything. So dig deep in there. It's a treasure trove. It's the Wild West. It's people rushing out to the gold rush. It's the gold rush. There's the sirens. It's the gold rush. And I'm going to leave it there because I don't want you to get overwhelmed. I just want you to get in there and try out a couple of things that we said today. Just try it out.
Yep. Please try it out.
Yeah. And if you got questions, I love to answer questions. Find me, Terry Johnson, online. Every place you want to be, I'm pretty much there. Just ask me.
Yep. Go in, ask your questions. Get on her list so that you make sure that you get any updates that you need. TJ is here to help you take the hassle out of your social media hustle.
Right. That's right. That's what it is.
This was some good lunch today, TJ.
You're welcome.
Man.
And thank you, Mark, for the laughs and comments. They're always appreciated, always welcome. And please follow Mark on the 4 minute. I keep wanting to say 5.
Ask Mark Ward and the 4 minute mark on podcasts everywhere.
Wherever you
4 minute mark. Because you got 4 minutes to get some new wisdom or insight about a subject. Mark has it for you.
Yes.
So, yes. And let's see, Mark has a comment. Today's podcast is about freedom.
Very appropriate for today.
Mm-hmm.
See, that's what you do. You just tie into what's happening in the now, what's happening today. And then tomorrow you tie into what's happening tomorrow. And It's real easy to make content. You've got Canva. You can go into each tool. There's ways of making something quick and easy. Don't overthink it. Don't overthink the content. When you put your audience first and the one person you're talking to, it's real easy to make quick content because we're not here making Oscar movies.
No.
Okay? You're not here making a movie. Well, I want to win an Oscar. No, you're here to put out a piece of content that connects and gets that person to follow you tomorrow. See how it's little breadcrumbs. I always like to use that term, breadcrumbs. It's a journey.
Yes. So
Ooh,
we'd like to
see?
take you on a journey with us. Please join the Bizchicks community. You can text Biz to 33777, or you can go to bizchicks.net. However you get connected, we appreciate you. We want to showcase you. We want to help you take the hassle out of your hustle so you can build a profitable business that's fun to run. TJ will be back here next Tuesday and on this Friday with our Tech Life Weekly, where we do a wrap up of things that are happening in tech and media and social media for the week. We invite you to come back and join with us. We're probably going to have a really spirited conversation on Friday based on what is happening on Tuesday. So come and
Don't miss
join
it.
us. Looking forward to connecting with you. And we'll see you next time. Thank
Bye,
you. Thank you.
everybody. Thank you. Thanks for watching.
Thank you. Thank you.